So a lot of times I've got, the decision makers not even on the same page. So just having that conversation with each other really will streamline things. And man, if we can help avoid an argument later over a garage or a she shed, if we can do that at the beginning, we'd rather do that at this spot. Don't you agree, Martha?
Absolutely.
Hey everybody, it's Alex, and I got Martha and Chris here with me. Chris is with Loan Simple, and he's going to be giving us our mortgage rundown this morning or afternoon or whatever time you are watching this. And then Martha is going to go over our home buying master plan, and she's going to talk about, what are you talking about today, Martha?
Getting started, where to begin.
I love that. That's always the best place to start a journey, is at the beginning.
Yes.
I like that. So without further ado, Mr. Chris, tell us what's up in the mortgage world, buddy.
Yeah, interest rates are all-time low. Thanks, but thank you. Absolutely. Interest rates are all-time low still. It is so important right now. And I think with everything going on, and they're still lending money. The banks are still lending money. There was a couple of articles that just came out recently by investors, and which is a big positive point for investors being able to still purchase those loans, even though some of these borrowers are going to be on forbearance, which is a great thing for us as lenders out there. Even if a borrower is in forbearance and they're not making their payment at this time, the investors are still purchasing those loans. So it allows a little bit more. You're going to see a lot more sustainable, less back to normal guidelines. As far as credit scores go, you're going to see. It's going to open up a little bit back to where we were before, and so interest rates are still low. It's very easy to get pre-approved. And I think it's so important to get pre-approved right before you go out there and look for homes.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned that, because I don't foresee our biggest threat going to be interest rates going up. I think we're probably going to stay stable, up and down a little bit, but nothing crazy. My biggest concern was that it's just going to be harder for people to get money. So I'm glad that they're addressing that, and it doesn't seem like that's going to be the issue. So that's great. So thanks for the tip real quick. So like the beginning, right, Martha? The very first question before you talk to Chris or before you talk to me or Martha is
why do you want to buy a home? Why do you want to buy something? What's happening in your life that's making you start looking? Someone moving in, someone moving out, you're adding a family member, are you downsizing, somebody graduating from kindergarten or college? You just need more space. What is your reasoning for thinking that now is a good thing? It's a good thing that that's what you want. So that's the first question we like to ask everyone. And
Perfect.
Maybe you're just thinking in a year or two, or maybe you're thinking in the next 3 months. So
perfect.
First thing you want to address
is
the why. And
we got Chris now.
And then you have to figure out how you're going to buy the home. Because if you don't have the cash, you're going to have to get a mortgage.
So go ahead, Chris. You're going to take us through what you guys look at to get somebody pre-qualified?
So going into that, there's only 3 items. The 3 items that we actually look at is that income, the debt that you have, and of course your credit. Those are the biggest parts. And the good thing about us as lenders, we want to look at the whole picture as a whole. Not only what's actually pulling up on your credit report, but everything as a whole. How much are you actually spending in food? What is it that you need to survive? We don't want to go into purchasing a home where we're house poor, right? Where we have that $1 million mansion, and you can only afford that mortgage payment, and you can't pay the utilities on that. So we look at it as a whole, as one of the whole, and it's so important because as a lender, you really want to know how much. I mean, we want to know, how, of course, Martha and Alex want to know how much you're actually approved for and what you know, feel comfortable on. And, you know, and there's so many programs out there with down payment assistance. How much do you have to put down? And so on and so forth that we go over through the whole consultation process.
Perfect. All right, what do we have next, Martha?
So yeah, this was the research phase is what we were talking about. And people that maybe are 6 months to a year or more out on buying a house and what they can do financially to prepare for that.
So yeah, Chris, you want to touch on that just quickly?
Correct.
What could somebody do
Okay.
now?
Well, save those extra pennies. You know, make sure that you're not going out and buying that extra, you know, that extra vehicle that you possibly don't need. You
that
know,
Corvette that you want.
making
Martha.
sure that we're saving as much money as we possibly can. Although that there is down payment assistance out there for you, but putting more down will lower that payment, and it puts more skin in the game, as you would say, and to have that backup assets, which is backup money for additional payments. You know, at least have that 3 to 6 month cushion to knowing that you can make that mortgage payment. So just, you know, saving up, looking at your credit, getting with a credit repair. Now, as far as credit repair goes, us at Loan Simple, we have a free credit repair that's free to them to increase your score. And, you know, and just making sure that you're, you know, and they'll talk to you about how much to charge on your credit and to keep your credit at a good standing throughout that time frame. So
I want to add, let me add one thing on the credit piece. And we're not talking about just like if you've got bad credit and you need to get it up to a minimum. So even somebody who's got good credit of 680, 690, if they got their credit score up to 750, 780, their pricing is going to be less, isn't it, Chris?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay, Marthy, what do you got next?
Oh, let's see if it'll let me switch slides. Yes, it will. So after you have your financing together, it's time to discuss what you're looking for in a house. Narrow your search down because you get online and there are so many options. So think about the price range that you want to be in, which hopefully you've already discussed that with your lender. Then start thinking about the neighborhood you'd like to be in. We can provide you with websites about different neighborhoods so you can do a little research or you can do some on your own. If schools are important to you, we can help you out with those items. Amenities and conveniences, things that you would like near you. Do you want to live near your job? Do you not want to live near your job? Those kinds of things. Are there certain stores or places that you like to hang out in that you would like to be in that area? And then we ask you to go through and pick 3 things that you absolutely cannot live without in a home. Do you have to have 4 bedrooms? Do you have to have a big yard? What are the most important things that you want in a home? And we ask you to do this with everyone who is a decision maker in your house. So it's not just say what I want, it would be what my husband wants as well. Or if you're moving in with your parents and they're buying a house with you, what do they both want? What do you need together?
And what we have found, people, because sometimes I'll say, well, I don't care where we live. We can live anywhere in Albuquerque or even the surrounding area. And I know inventory is low, but that's still over 2,000 houses. That's overwhelming to process that much. And what we found is when we actually narrow the focus, it makes the process a lot less stressful. It streamlines it, makes it a lot quicker, and you actually find the best house possible for you. So wants and needs is absolutely the best place to start. And it's kind of funny because when I get couples together, husband, wife, or whatever, and we have them each do their own wants and needs, they're not always the same thing. So a lot of times I've got, you know, the decision makers not even on the same page. So just having that conversation with each other really will streamline things. And man, if we can help avoid an argument later over a garage or a she shed, you know, if we can do that at the beginning, we'd rather do that at this spot. Don't you agree, Martha?
Absolutely. And it just saves so much time because we've worked with people that are just not sure where they want to be. Do they want to be south? Do they want to be north? Do they want to be way east? And you lose out on houses when you circle back around that might have been the right house the first time because someone else has bought it.
And
So
we have
it's
seen that a lot.
important to get, especially right now, we've seen that. So it's important to get that narrowed down to where you want to be.
Absolutely. All right. And what do you have next, Martha? Or in
I
closing?
have the wants and needs checklist.
Oh yeah.
We
So
like to give couples and families and whoever's making the decision.
message us, because we'll put this. We should be on Facebook, and we'll also send this out in an email. Just respond to us that you would like this wants and needs, and it's kind of fun. You can print it out. Like I said, do it with the decision makers. And honestly, if you get everybody going the same direction, it goes so much smoother than we got
Yes.
people going this way, that way, than the other. But believe
Yes.
me, do not give it to people who are not decision makers. don't
Don't let
give
your
it to the
kids
in-laws.
have it.
Yeah. I mean, I've had people take kids. We've had people take kids every time, and we've had other people not take them at all, saying, all right, they don't get a pick. It doesn't matter. They can choose a room later. So just, whoever the decision makers, that'd be my advice on
Another
that.
person not to share it with. If you are young and your parents are going to be involved in and seeing these houses, maybe do this list before you talk to them so that you have your influences and not someone else's.
That's a good point. We've seen that a lot as well. Absolutely.
But
So
there's
go ahead.
that we also have as a resource. Chris has provided us with items that you can start gathering for when you apply for a loan, things that they may ask you for. So we also have this list that we can send out as well as some information about the credit repair that Loan Simple helps with.
Perfect. Perfect. So I want to thank you, Chris, for joining us, and Martha, always a pleasure. It's my
Yes.
wife. We live together. Just want to make sure, people. So we do this every week. It'll be Thursday at noon, and we'll have links and stuff available for people if you want to join us. And what we're doing, we're just going to take a little piece of our whole buyer process, and we're going to go over it. At any time, if you're not in the research phase anymore and you need to buy something within the next 90 days, anything within the next 90 days needs to have high urgency. It is. If you're thinking you need a house in 90 days, we need to be talking today. Period. So that's just the advice I'm giving you, okay? You can reach us. We'll have our information below. We'll have Chris's information also. You can always get a hold of him directly. And we want to thank you, and we'll talk to you later.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks.